Okay. Turn on the torch, light up the flame. Time to melt some glass, my friends. There you are. Here I am to explain, to teach, and create again. Last week, had a chance to go to Asheville and see an old friend of mine and an old student from he was a student of mine in the 90s, not the 80s. Hey, I'm that old, but not that they're not. Anyway, I had a chance to go and visit him, and also went to a place called Mountain Art Glass. It is a store that if you're a glass blower and happen to be in Asheville area, it is worth your time. I mean, if you do soft glass, if you do Boro, this is the place to go. They had color coming out every place that I could look at. They had all the type of torches you'd ever want to. They had all the ovens that you'd ever want to play or deal with. They had all of the torches, again, that you ever wanted to deal with. And while I was there, I bought a whole bunch of neat glass. I got some whites. I got some turbo cobalt, which is basically a very dark blue. And I'm using that in the thing that I will be demonstrating for you today, which is a lighthouse. Hey! Making some black and white cane, which turns out really, really nice for lighthouses. But back to the story. Got a whole bunch of different colors. I got a whole bunch of, a few tools. I got a set of rollers that I'll be using, bench rollers that will help me to roll and hold up a piece and make it spin faster and do things better. Anyway, that's a horse of a different color too, which we will get into. Excuse me. Sorry. Now, without further ado, I'm going to put aside the Carlisle, and I've had a lot of fun, and I will have some more fun with the Carlisle. Don't get me wrong, the Carlisle is not completely out of the picture, okay? And I've also want to show you the other torch that recently I've been playing with and having a lot of fun with is the budget torch that I got for under $90. And that, again, had all the regulators and all the hose and all of the things that you could do. All you'd need to do is get a bottle of propane and a bottle of oxygen, and you'd be cooking with gas, believe me. And I'm still going to be doing a few more demos with this. I've got some videos coming up. I've got a couple of torch tips to go. Most of the single ones that I have used for this thing are basically down to, a nice orifice and where I was doing the really, really teeny tiny stuff. And I'm excited about that. I truly am. But without further ado, I'm going to show you the latest in all of its glory. And I've played with it already and set it up and put it on the torch so that I would make sure that I wouldn't be making any mistakes with it with you. This is called a Bethlehem Champion. I'm really excited about it. It put me back a little bit. You could check it out on their website and how much it cost. And also, I got it at a better deal because underneath that, can you see the words Revere there? Now that is basically what it was to begin with. Revere, and I could probably put a connection from this video to Revere's video demoing this very same torch. And no, I didn't get the pipe in the box, but that's no big deal. But I've had a lot of fun playing with it, and I just wanted to show you. And another thing that you got to understand is when you get a new torch, the candle dynamics. That's what I'm calling it, and it's probably close to that. But if somebody wants to come up and tell me or write down in the description of what it actually is, what I'm talking about is how far the flames go out and where what I call the sweet spot, where you'll be melting most of your glass at in the flame. it's very important to learn your candle dynamics, and with it, you can get results with just about any torch you use. Now, also, the white that I'm using for this demo, of course, it's never around when you want it. The white is called Star White from North Star, of course. Okay, and it's a very nice creamy white, and as you can see, it flows really well. And also the North Star color, Turbo Cobalt is the blue, and as you can see, that turns out really, really nice. And with that, you turn around and make stripes, and then the rims on it, you got the rim, I call it the outer viewing on the lighthouse, top of the lighthouse. Anyway, that's what that's all about. And there is the demo. So let's, without further ado, go ahead and get into melting some glass. I'm, for this demo, going to be using both the 10 liter per minute and the 5 liter per minute oxygen concentrator. And with this torch, I realized that I was a little underwhelmed the first time I turned it on, because again, I didn't understand more of the candle dynamics, which I keep saying. But once it's all said and done, and I get a little bit more oomph in the flame, I'm thinking about also getting a 10 liter per minute, another 10 liter per minute oxygen concentrator to go with what I got, and maybe even a third one, just to, again, so this machine can rock. Okay. Oops. Okay, let's get this straightened out. Okay, this is what you call the candle dynamics on this center flame, and this is your outer flame. Okay, and that's about where you want it to, I want it to be for right now. I've also got I'm going to be putting this Turbo Cobalt to this Star White and making a half and half blob here. Half of it's going to be black and half of it's going to be white, of course. That's all you got to do, is you just got to sit here, push a little bit of the black in, and then heat it up and push a little bit of the white in, and keep it even. So mainly, that's the main thing with this torch, or this demonstration that I'm doing. I'm going to be doing enough for this demonstration, and maybe enough to do maybe one more lighthouse besides this one. Okay? I'm really excited about the new torch, and I really hope that there's a lot that I can learn from it. I also will be doing a demo or two with it that I was really excited about while I was just learning the torch. Today I was encasing some green exotic, which is probably something that wouldn't hurt to come back and do again, like I've done it many a time before. But to encase colors with this type of flame, again, the flame dynamics is so much different, or candle dynamics is what I'm calling it. So that's enough of that said. Learning where the sweet spot is, that the glass will melt for you, that you don't have to work harder but smarter. Okay, those two colors are about even. That'll be fine. With that, I'm going to go ahead and put a cold weld at the top of this thing, or what I'm calling the top at this point. Ow! I gotta stop. Also, I noticed in the kit that came with this thing, they actually give you a piece of wood or a stick. I almost wanted to say beating it with an ugly stick, but it was a pretty neat little stick. It was just a dowel. When you're cleaning the machine with it, you use this dowel to clean the um, or you will turn on the flame and tap it, and it helps to break up the carbon buildup that's in the inside of the torch. So we'll get to that point, and I will demonstrate that later on too. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm just bringing these back and forth, or rolling, spinning it around, and I'm going to start stretching it. And after I start stretching it, I'm going to start twisting it also. And that will help to make the swirl of the lighthouse. Stretch and swirl. Here we go. Starting to happen now. Oops. Doesn't help if my cold weld or my weld keeps melting off. It's getting in there, but it's okay. Here we go. It's heating it a little bit, and it's twisting a little bit, and pulling a little bit at the same time. All of them all practically together. And I'm going to go ahead and make this a little thinner so that I can get a couple of smaller lighthouses out of it. That should about do it right there. I'm going to pull it off right about here. And that is going to be one lighthouse for my left hand on. And this will be, I can probably heat and twist and stretch and make some more lighthouses out of that later. Okay, now I'm going to, oops, of course it's going to do something like that to me. Don't let it get frustrating to you. Don't let it get the better of you. Just keep working. And if you have to, when you get frustrated, you walk away and come back later. Persistence pays off in that respect, okay? As you can see, it dropped off again. But this time I'm going to add it with tweezers. Never around when you want them. Snake bit it bit me. Oh, there they are. Okay. I'm going to hold it here with this. Put a good weld on it for now. A little bit of a carbon buildup. I don't know if that's due to me using the flame or the candle's a little bit too close or whatever. But we're getting there. I'm going to go ahead and heat and flatten the bottom of this. This is going to be the bottom of this lighthouse. I'm also going to round it in a little bit. I've got this little groove here in this thing, so I'm going to use it to my advantage. Make sure that the lighthouse is more or less straight. Okay. Now I'm going to put a cold weld at the bottom here. This is something that I'm going to make sure sticks on there until I break it off later. Okay. There we go. And now work on the top of this lighthouse. First, I'm going to add a lookout ledge or a lookout point on the lighthouse where you go around the outside railing and look from the top of the lighthouse. That's what I'm going to create right now with this. Pull it out into, let it round into itself again. Things you're learning the dynamics of this torch in particular is very important. Flatten the rim. Maybe a little bit bigger than I wanted it to be, but it's okay. It's just a representation thereof. Or I could turn that into base, but I won't. I'll let that be the outer rim of the lighthouse. I call it the outer rim. It's the, and why not? This, and I'm going to go ahead and, oops, wrong one. I was trying to shut off a set of valves. Just do the inner valve to do a little bit more detail on the top part. This is Illuminati. And with Illuminati, it'll just be a light tint of green in the color of the lens, where the lens is on this lighthouse. But also, if you ever take it and put it under a black light, it will glow nice and pretty for you. So it's just an added special effect, right? Right. Now, top of this lighthouse. Get it melting. Bring it together. Put a little bit of a roof. I might even have to come back and do that in a second. There we go, there's the roof, and now the bail. You know how I usually put the bail on. It's a question mark and followed by the, looks like there's a little bit of, I wouldn't say contamination, but a little bit of color in the glass that I'm making into the bail, but it will not make the thing look any uglier. Let's just put it that way, because it's going to look pretty as it is. Now, question mark, let it melt down into, press it in, let it melt together quite nicely. Always make sure you're fusing two pieces of glass together and not just sticking them together. That's where it's going to fall apart later on if it's not put together well. Okay, this. There we go. There we go. But gotta learn where to tap things with this thing, but that's okay. So used to doing it with my torch, with the Carlisle, but I gotta treat this one a little bit better. And there we go. One lighthouse. Let me show you again up close. Again, thanks for watching. And as always, carpe vitro and enjoy your